I've had it so many times where someone says to me that getting an Apple Watch is pointless because they already own an iPhone. But an Apple Watch is more of an extension to the iPhone than it is a replacement. So let's go over some stuff that actually makes owning an Apple Watch worth it and makes it useful. The past couple of months I've been playing around with my Apple Watch and I've come to realise it's a lot more useful than people think it is. And I'm one of those people who hasn't always had an Apple Watch because I thought it was a little bit pointless. But then I got the Series 3 and my eyes were opened, and at the moment I use the Series 4 because I didn't think the Series 5 was a big enough upgrade. And I use it so much now that I think I'd just be lost without it. So here's a couple of tips on how you can make your Apple Watch actually useful. And the first one seems pretty obvious, but it's to make sure that you actually change the watch faces. The nice thing about an Apple Watch is that it can almost fit into any occasion or any style with the changing of the watch face, and even more so with the Series 5 and that always on display. There are a ton of Apple Watch faces you can pick inside the Apple Watch app on the iPhone, and I was scrolling through this earlier on and I didn't even realize how many there were. There are so many. You've got a watch face for almost every single occasion. The one that I've got on at the moment is the Siri watch face, which is pretty handy, but you've got one for your activity. So when you're running, you've got your fitness stuff right there, so you can see all of your calories and everything that you've burnt during your workout. You've then got something which is a little bit more classy, so something like this, which is California. There isn't a huge amount to this watch face. You don't really add any complications to it, but it makes the Apple Watch a little bit different. And if you change the watch strap on the watch as well and change this watch face, it then starts to look pretty classy. You even have just plain old numbers, and some of these are really cool as well. But my favorite one at the moment is called Numerals Duo. It's probably the least exciting watch face you can have on your Apple Watch, but it looks really cool and you can have it in a ton of different colors. If you want a load of information or complications on your watch face, then a really good one is called Infograph. You can have up to 8 different complications, so that's pretty much everything that you would ever want to see on your Apple Watch. So you can see things like temperature, battery percentage, you can even see the calendar on there as well. And then you can change it up a little bit more as well by, if you don't like the default complications that this watch face comes with, you can change that yourself on your Apple Watch or in your iPhone watch app. And then even more, you can change the color of what you want that Infograph watch face to look like. And changing the color of the watch face is probably the most important thing because you can then change it to whatever you're wearing. So if you're wearing a white top, you can make the Apple Watch face white or black so it can stand out a little bit more. And that's the nice thing about Apple Watch, is that if you're going to go to a meeting, you can change it and you can have something like the Californian watch face, which makes you look all business-like. Or if you are just going on runs and doing workouts and stuff, you can change the watch face depending on that. And all you have to do on the watch face is you just swipe over and you can have as many watch faces as you want. On the watch itself, you can't have a huge amount, but then you can change it as much as you like inside the Apple Watch app on the iPhone. Another thing to make your watch a lot more useful is to actually use Siri that is built into the watch. Using Siri on Apple Watch is probably the thing that I use the watch itself for the most. It took me too long to realize how easy it was to do things with your watch than just relying on your iPhone. On the Series 4 onwards, there's a couple of ways that you can activate Siri. So you can hold in the digital crown like you can on all the other Apple Watches and just speak to Siri that way. You can also say, "Hey Siri," and have a look at that way. But the easiest option is raise to speak. And I'm not sure how many people know this even exists on Apple Watch. But if you don't know it exists, then give it a go because it makes you feel a little bit like a spy. It feels really natural just to raise your wrist and ask Siri a question. And it also means that you don't have to use that "Hey Siri" saying to get the watch to actually do something. It just makes using Siri a lot easier, and it's a lot faster than having to grab your phone when you want to actually ask her to do something. With raise to speak, it's just easy. So if you're getting ready to go out and you want to know whether it's going to rain so you know to take a jacket or not, raise your wrist and ask Siri, "Is it going to rain?" If there's a song playing and you want to know what it is and it's going to be too slow to get your phone out and ask Siri what that song is that's playing, just ask Siri on your watch and it works exactly like it would on your phone. I use this all the time when cooking, so if I pop something in the oven and need a timer for 20 minutes, I'll ask Siri on my watch to do it. And the good thing about asking Siri on your watch is that you never won't hear the timer because it's on your wrist. You can also ask Siri to set alarms as well, and if your watch is on silent like everybody's watch should be, then the alarm will go off silently on your wrist with vibrate, and that's really handy when an alarm is just too loud in certain situations. Now, something that I didn't even know existed on the Apple Watch until a couple of days ago was that the Apple Watch has its own version of a dock. Using the app screen on an Apple Watch is probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had on any piece of software. It's genuinely just horrible. And here's a tip for you, a little extra one. If you don't like going through all your apps on that honeycomb view, then if you long press on that honeycomb view, you can change it to list view, which is just a bit easier for finding apps. But now I've started using the dock, it means I don't really have to go through all of the apps searching for what I want. All you have to do is press the power button and then tap it once, and then your dock will appear. And on that dock, you can customize what you have on it. So you can have all of your favorite apps, so the ones that you use most often. Like if you only ever do workouts, you can put your fitness on there, and then like I've got fitness, I've then got Apple Music, and then I've got my podcasts, depending on what I want to listen to when I go out for a run. Or if you use a lot of apps, you can then change it on the iPhone in the Apple Watch app to just have your recent apps on there. So anything that you want to jump back and forth from, all you have to do is press that button, open the dock and scroll through, and it's got your last 4 or 5 apps on there. And that just means you don't have to have the horrible experience of going through that honeycomb app thing that Apple have put on the watch. It's just a bit better and a bit quicker than having it in the app view. So like the honeycomb app, I don't know where any of my apps are, it's horrible. If you go on list view, it's all alphabetical. So if you want to go for the workout, you've got to go all the way to the bottom and click W and all of that stuff. So if you have it in the dock, everything just happens a little bit quicker. And something else you can do that can help is to delete the Apple Watch apps that you don't actually use. When you first get your Apple Watch, if you have an iPhone app that has an Apple Watch app, it will just download it to your watch automatically. So you'll end up with loads of apps on your watch that you don't even know are there and that you will never use. So just like on the iPhone, you can delete the apps on your Apple Watch, or you can just delete them inside the Apple Watch app on your iPhone. You can't delete everything on the Apple Watch, but you can delete enough to stop making it look a little bit messy. And if you'd be interested in just seeing a video specifically on Apple Watch apps, then let me know in the comments below. And the last thing that can make your Apple Watch a little bit more useful is if you own a Mac, you can have your Apple Watch unlock the Mac. I'm surprised again by how many people don't know that this is a feature, because it's something that isn't enabled by default. You have to go in and you have to do it yourself. It's a brilliant little thing, and I wish the iPhone had something like this as well, but typing in your password all the time to a Mac just gets a little bit boring, and also it makes it a little bit more difficult if your Mac is connected to an external display with the lid down. So instead, why open the lid every time when you can have your Apple Watch do the work for you? All you have to do is make sure your Apple Watch and your MacBook are logged into the same iCloud, and then it's pretty simple. All you have to do is head into System Preferences, click Security and Privacy, and then General, and then just click Apple Watch to unlock Mac, and it is as simple as that. You're ready to go. No more entering passwords again unless you power your Mac down and then power it back up again. So that's how you can make your Apple Watch a little bit more useful than just having it to tell the time. I could tell you a load more tips and tricks for your Apple Watch, but this video would be an hour long and nobody wants an hour long video. But hit the like button if you want to see part 2, and until next time, see you later.